Simple harmonic motion. So in your terminology, this is called as oscillations. Right. So in these oscillations, right, first of all, actually we need to understand what is a simple harmonic motion. A simple harmonic motion, if there is a block of mass and this block of mass, let us say you applied a force on this, and that force actually, let us say you moved this block till this particular point, and this is the mean position, and once you drag this to this position, and if you leave it, then there will be a restoring force that is going to be developed by this spring, and it will always tries to drag it back. So you move to this location, but actually this spring actually will bring that back to the original position, and then it won't stop at this position. It will try to drag further in this particular direction, and then actually it will try to compress the spring, and again once this compressed completely, it will try to push it back. Again actually it travels to the other end, and then actually this spring again will bring it back, and it will try to push it again, and this again throws. So this process will continue throughout. So in this scenario, if you notice, what is happening is this spring is having a definite spring constant. First of all, we need to understand what is a spring constant. Spring constant. So this is the force developed per unit length of a spring is specific to that spring. And that value is represented with K, and is equal to K is equal to F by X. So this is the spring constant. That means, suppose if you notice, one particular spring is like this. On this actually we have applied a force F, and there will be an elongation if you apply the force. Now this elongation, let us say there is a change of, originally let us say this is having a length of L. Now actually after I apply the force, it dragged to a further extent of X. Now whatever the expansion that is going to be developed by this spring is equal to X, and this is proportional to the F. Why? Because if you apply more force, then actually the length is more. If you apply less force, the length is less, obviously, right? So if you apply more force, more change is going to happen for the length. If you apply less force, then actually less change is going to happen. Now this is the additional length only. It's not the total length. So that is additional length, how much it is going to acquire for unit force. So this is what is the spring constant. So here actually F is directly proportional to the X. More the displacement, more the force you have applied, or more the force you have, the displacement it is going to develop is more. Now this proportionality, as and when there is a proportionality, that can be always replaced with some constant. So F is equal to K times of X. So this is the relation of the force developed in a spring. Force developed in a spring. Now this force per unit length, that is K, can be expressed as F by X. This is the K value. So F is nothing but force by unit length. So force per unit length. So if F is equal to 1 and X is equal to 1, then K is equal to 1. So that means if you apply a force of 1 Newton, and if it develops a displacement of 1 meter, then the spring constant is said to be of 1 unit. So or 1 newtons per meter. So this is K is expressed as newtons per meter. This is the spring constant, right? Now here actually this is the value of K. Now in this particular case, if you notice the expansion and contraction, if you notice initially this is the mean position, this is the expansion X from this particular mean position, and this is the contraction X, but it is independent of the length of the spring. So whatever the additional length it is going to acquire, that does matter for us. So here actually the additional length is going to be of X. Now this force, if you notice, it is dependent on X. More the force, more the displacement. Now here we need to understand one more thing is, as the force applied is more, then actually you are dragging more. Now initially I dragged to this extent and then left it. Once I left it, then it will try to compress in this direction, because actually the spring will bring it back. And the amount of the force this spring applies on this block of mass to push it back is proportional to the displacement. So at the other extreme position, it will have more force and it will try to bring it fast. And then actually at this particular location, if you notice, the displacement is less, hence actually less force is going to be applied. As it is coming to this mean position, so it won't apply any force. So as X is equal to 0. Now actually, as there is no force, but actually due to the velocity of the kinetic energy, it is trying to push it further, and then actually it will apply the force in the opposite direction. So if you notice, here actually F is a positive value, and then actually F is equal to 0 at this particular stage, and here actually F is a negative value, because till this point it will try to bring it back. That means this spring is elongated, it is bringing it back, and after this point actually this block will push the spring. So it is going to be of negative length. The force direction is changed now. So earlier actually this spring used to bring it back, now it tries to push it up. So initially it was bringing in this direction, now actually it is pushing in the opposite direction. So the force direction is changed. So the force direction, if you notice, F is always directly proportional to the X value. And there is one more important aspect is, here the force direction, that is the force direction we mean, don't take the force what we apply. So the force that we need to consider is the restoring force, or the force developed within the spring. So force meaning we need to consider, that is the restoring force. So this is the restoring force, or force developed within the spring. Within the spring, right? So this F is proportional to X. So this block actually moved to this particular location. Now one important thing is F is directly proportional to X. That is one important aspect. Another important aspect is, here if you notice, at any random location, if you notice, here the force or the restoring force actually, which is in this particular direction. So the restoring force direction is, this spring actually will bring it in this direction at this particular point. So the movement actually, the X decreasing, so the displacement X increasing is in this direction. X is nothing but the length measured from the mean position. So this is the mean position. And this is X in the positive direction, in this direction X in the negative direction. So X is nothing but the displacement. So X is displacement. Now in this particular case, the X value, suppose X is this direction is the positive, and the force at this point actually, if you notice, it is in the opposite direction. X and F, so F is in this direction, X is in this particular direction. Now these two are actually opposite to each other. Now you take on the other way. See this, here actually the force, whatever is the restoring force, will try to push it in this direction. So it will try to push in this direction, but actually the X negative value is in this direction. So the force and X are always opposite to each other. So force and displacement is always opposite. opposite in the case of spring mass system. So that means here one is F is directly proportional to X and is always opposite in direction. Hence actually there is a negative sign. Now this particular scenario can be replaced as F is equal to minus mu into X. F is equal to minus mu into X. Now here actually this you can replace as the spring constant. It won't make any difference, minus Kx. So it doesn't matter whatever maybe the variable you use it. So here actually this is going to be the spring constant system. So F is equal to minus Kx. And F can always be represented as m into d square x by dt square. So this is the acceleration because F is equal to ma. A is d square x by dt square. D square x by dt square. Now this value, if you replace it here, this is going to be of minus kx, or d square x by dt square can be replaced as minus k by m times ex. And this is what actually usually this k by m value is represented with a letter called omega square. So this omega, we are bringing it now. It's a new variable which is equal to k by m. And this omega is called as the angular velocity. Why we call this as angular velocity is, I'm going to explain down the line. For now, you assume that omega square. And then actually, as we are assuming as omega square, we need to do that way only. We cannot keep as omega. Why? Because the square is needed to simplify this particular equation. So this k by m value is equal to omega square. Now for now you remember it. Eventually I'm going to explain why we have to call this as omega and why we have to treat that as the angular velocity. Now see this, d square x by dt square is equal to minus, this value is equal to minus omega square times of x. Now this differential equation we should be solving it. So d square x by dt square is equal to minus omega square times of x. And this differential equation we should be solving it so that you wanted to know the complete behavior of the simple harmonic motion. So before solving this, what we need to understand is, in the case of simple harmonic motion, what are the things actually we wanted to understand? Suppose if you wanted to know the complete simple harmonic motion behavior, the important parameters you wanted to understand is, if you take this, now here actually this is the mean position and this block actually is dragged to this particular location. Now what are all the parameters you are interested in this is, one is the displacement at any instant of time. That means if you wanted to understand the simple harmonic motion, the question what you are going to ask is, once we drag this and then leave it, then actually the answers what we are looking at is, at any instant of time, where is the location of the block? Suppose actually after 1 second where it is, after 2 seconds where it is, and after half an hour where it is. So such kind of question actually if somebody asks, you should be able to answer it. That is nothing but understanding the displacement at any instant of time. That means you are trying to establish a relation between the displacement and time. So at any instant of time, what is the displacement? Or at this displacement, what should be the time? So x and t relation actually we are asking. That is one important aspect. And the second important aspect what you are looking at is the velocity of the block at any instant of time. So the velocity of the block at any instant of time. Or at any displacement. What it essentially means for us is, suppose when the block is at this particular position, what is its velocity? When the block is somewhere here, then what is its velocity? When the block is at the midpoint, what is the velocity? When the block is on this side, what is the velocity? So at any position, actually, if I give it, you should be able to tell me the displacement, or actually if I give the displacement, you should be able to tell the velocity. So that means you wanted to establish a relation between v and x. So you wanted to establish a relation between the velocity and the displacement, or you may be willing to express a relation between v and t also. That is up to you. So velocity between velocity and time relation, or actually velocity and displacement relation. So you are willing to identify the velocity at any instant or at any position. That is another important aspect. And the next important aspect is the acceleration at any instant of time. So that actually it will not be of much use, because fundamentally we start with f is equal to minus kx. So here these are the two important relations that we are looking in the case of simple harmonic motion. So you wanted to establish a relation between the displacement and time and the velocity and displacement, or the velocity and time. So for that, actually the only information what we have got is this equation. So this actually, it gives the complete information about the simple harmonic motion. So this particular differential equation. Now here actually, this differential equation, if you notice, any differential equation of this format is always a simple harmonic motion. Always a simple harmonic motion. Why it is always a simple harmonic motion is, so here in this particular case, if you drag to the farther distance, it is trying to apply more force to restore back. And once it is coming back, actually the force will continue, and then actually it will go in the opposite direction. Immediately it will try to apply the force, and then actually it will coming back. So once it goes to the other extreme, it is anyway coming back. Now the restoring force and the displacement should be always proportional, and it should be always in the opposite direction. Then the differential equation is of this particular format. If the differential equation is of this format, it will definitely be a simple harmonic motion, because the behavior is dependent on this particular differential equation. So if the condition for simple harmonic motion is, this is the condition. So f should be proportional to x, and it should be having a negative sign. Then the motion is always a simple harmonic motion. So whenever actually you wanted to prove that whether it is a simple harmonic motion or not, so you just needs to identify the force or the acceleration. So a should be proportional and opposite to x. So this equation is always a simple harmonic motion. Got it?